Leba, I'm going to start with you on this question. Tell me about the most moving experience you had while you were filming this documentary.
I think the thing that moved me the most about making this film, it wasn't one. I wouldn't say it was like one like emotional epicenter, like the experience. It was about rethinking my entire positioning as a black straight male relative to all the other people that I interact with on a daily basis. So it's looking at how society is formed and all the rules that apply to hold these different structures and formations in place and how I fit relative to those. That was the thing that was the most moving. So it wasn't like emotional and sentimental, it was like ideological and kind of intellectual.
Allison, what was it like for you?
I mean, related to Lebo's point, like just being more responsible with my own whiteness, my own positionality in the world, and yeah, just being as responsible as possible and as alert as possible to how my privilege plays out in both small scale and large scale in the broader scheme of things. And then also learning more about other people's experiences, like how they experience the world, was very like it's a journey. It was a journey, yeah.
It must have been really surreal to hear how different people experience the world. I think we can sit here and talk about it, but until you hear those stories, you don't really, you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know how the person sitting next to you experiences the exact same thing. You could be both looking at the same thing. So that must have been quite an experience.
I think one was also what I'm also really, really interested in is not um, uh, there's just certain spaces that uh, history has disabled a lot of people's imaginations of how the world works, and we are closed off to people's experiences. I'm not talking about like I don't know how other people live. I'm talking about the students in the film. And there's a girl in Cape Town uh, who lives on Res at Fuller, and I think it'll be interesting for her to see how other people that also share the same university space, what they have to be in order to be able to even be able to function within that space. And for Lungelo, who's a girl from Soweto who catches like two taxis to get to school, she has to be up at like 5 a.m. All those nuances that the students themselves fail to see because they are in it. I think for us, because we're looking at it a little bit more removed, looking at how these different lives overlap, maybe they fail to see that. So I'm actually really interested to see how the people in the film are going to see it. There's yesterday we had a small screening for some contributors, and one of the two girls that brought they like one of the young interns brought like a boyfriend or whatever, I don't really know. And after the words, he was just like, "Oh man, I had an incident last week that the film touches on, but before I saw this film, I didn't know that I thought I was crazy, like I didn't realize that experience was tied to so many other things in the world." So I think it's to give students that opportunity to see the many things that they deal with on a day-to-day basis as part of like a broader framework of issues.
Just to like provide them with a vocabulary and a framework of understanding for the things that happen to them on a daily basis that make them uncomfortable, but they may not be able to like articulate or understand how it fits into like broader things that are not necessarily their fault.